So Chelsea actually had a nil-nil draw away to FC Bournemouth. Another frustrating result. Two games that Chelsea was supposed to capitalize, and Chelsea failed to do that. What went wrong? So it's quite clear that Chelsea are somewhat out of the title race, and Chelsea might actually go back into that top four race. And December has been December. Though I still understand that probably missing a player like Moises Caicedo in that midfield has made Chelsea to be in a position where they lack to control. But in this game, they even didn't have shots in the first half. Now, if you're new in this channel, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let's immediately go to the tactical analysis. Now, Chelsea versus Bournemouth was quite a unique game. And I expected Bournemouth to implement an aggressive high press because that's generally the way FC Bournemouth play. And Chelsea, knowing them, I knew the way they would like to arrange themselves during build-up. So Bournemouth knew what they're supposed to do. They engaged the high press, and just like many teams are doing against Chelsea, is they are cutting the passing lane from the right and forcing the ball to be played to the left and ensuring that no midfield options are given to Chelsea. So why are opposition teams doing this? They do understand that Chalobah, being a right-footed centre-back on the left, is not quite comfortable playing the ball out wide. And therefore, they know that if they use their wingers to curve their runs, they will block the pass onto Cucurella, who's the free player, and this might force Chalobah to go long, and Chelsea, and they can actually win possession. And Bournemouth did that. Here you can see Chelsea are looking to build from the back, and you can see the position of Fofana, and you can see the position of Chalobah, who's in possession. Now, Chalobah in this position is actually quite lucky because he can look to play the ball to Reece James, and Chelsea can look to progress. Here again, you can see Evan Nilsson looking to go and press Chalobah, and Chalobah is being pressed from two fronts. And because Chalobah is not left-footed so that he can play the ball directly to Cucurella and evade that press, Chalobah is forced to play the pass back to Sanchez, who actually looks to clear it. Here again, you can see that build-up structure, and the pass is being forced to Chalobah. And once the ball is played to Chalobah, you can see a Bournemouth player is ready to engage into that press. Chalobah receives the ball, and he's immediately looked to be closed down and be denied any time and space on the ball, making it super difficult for Chalobah to try and influence the game for Chelsea. Now, because of this well-structured pressing system, it's made it super difficult for Chelsea to build through this fashion. And even when they went long, Delap in particular was not quite great in doing it. So we started to see Fernandes pushing quite forward and Gusto looking to move in that inside channel position, something that he even did against Arsenal. So here is James gets the ball and looks to play the ball on to Gusto, and once Gusto receives this ball, then Gusto can look to progress the ball forward to Pedro Neto. And you can actually see in this clip here. Here it is Fernandes who has the ball. You can see the position of Gusto, and you can understand how Chelsea were looking to play those penetrative passes, especially towards Gusto, to use him as a spare man in that midfield. Here again, Reece James has the ball, and you can see Bournemouth looking to press Chelsea aggressively high, but Reece James is able to play this direct ball to Gusto and is able to take away Bournemouth's front and midfield lines. Now, this helped Chelsea, and when Bournemouth's press became a bit passive, we started to see a dynamic that Chelsea like to implement. Now, why did Chelsea actually be goalless? It all started with the way they used their right back, Gusto. So Gusto was the one who was supposed to invert. But Maresca did not invert Gusto in deep midfield regions. He inverted Gusto in the advanced midfield regions and pushed Cole Palmer out towards the left to try and play together with Garnacho, and tucked in Cucurella to play deeper so that he can offer that left-footed option to Chalobah. This is where everything went wrong for Chelsea. 1. Enzo Fernandez, who's one of the key creators, was left deeper. Gusto, who's a right back and who's super ineffective when it comes to attack, was pushed forward into dangerous attacking areas, areas where we would see the likes of Cole Palmer. So whenever the ball will be played to Gusto, Gusto will not look to make a cutback, attempt a shot, or look to create any attacking threat. And I just want to show you a clip here of what actually happens. Here you can see Chelsea have the ball and they're looking to try and spread the pass towards the right because the left has been overloaded. Now, here you can see Neto and Gusto looking to link up, but you can see that Bournemouth are not so scared about Gusto having the ball because they know that Gusto is not quite an attacking threat when occupying those positions. And because of this system, it made it super difficult for Chelsea to create anything from the right, and therefore Neto will be shut down. Now, down the left, Palma was also being restricted, and I've constantly said this. Maresca needs to stop playing Palma in that left half space position because whenever he plays Palma in that position, he only limits Palma to two things: crossing the ball or playing the ball to the winger and hoping that the winger can look to try to take on the fullback. And sometimes Cucurella would also join this attack by looking to make those underlapping runs, with Garnacho being the only player there. And this is where problems kept on happening for Chelsea time and time again because Palmer's structure was restricted. Smith was able to win the ball off Garnacho numerous times. And once he was able to win this ball off Garnacho, they would immediately look to counter. So what do I think Maresca did in the earlier times in the second half that actually made Chelsea look dangerous? So first of all, Maresca switched, and he switched by pushing Gusto deeper alongside Reece James and looking to push Fernandes high, and he started by pushing Fernandes into that right channel. And this is when we started to see Fernandes being the player who actually is occupying those side channels and Gusto being the one who's playing deeper together with Reece James, which I think that was a prudent approach because Gusto is better defensively and has a work rate better than Fernandes. One thing I failed to understand is why he didn't push Enzo and Palma in where they look to be best. When you put Palma in that right half space position, you put his stronger left foot in field where he can look to create and attempt shots on target as well as dribbling. The same also happens down the left in that Enzo Fernandez is so good in linking up with the left winger and actually looking to create some kind of areas of uncertainty for Chelsea, making Chelsea super strong in those kinds of areas. Now, without the ball, Chelsea would look to settle into what we call a 4-2-3-1. And Petrovic in particular was aiming to play balls over the top, especially towards the right, for Semenyo. Why? Because he understood that Semenyo was strong aerially and could cause problems to Gusto, as he did. Now, what happened is that Maresca decided to shift Fofana towards that position. So whenever the ball was being played by Petrovic, it will be Fofana who will try to match Semenyo physically and actually stop Semenyo from winning that aerial duel. And in this case, Fofana wins that aerial duel. Gusto is able to win the second ball, and Chelsea are now able to transition from that position of uncertainty to a position where they will look to control the game. And you could constantly see those balls being played to Semenyo. Here again, you can see Fofana with the ball, standing with the ball, and you can see how Chelsea are looking to attack. And you can see that Gusto is the one looking and actually being tasked to play in those half space positions. Overall, Chelsea have managed to drop as many as 5 points in the last two games, where teams like Arsenal have dropped points. Maresca sometimes actually he plays the football on paper, trying to make it look like Palma will be effective down the left, yet we know that Palma is effective down the right, and Enzo Fernandez is effective higher down the left. So the altering of the position of his two most creative midfielders, Fernandez and Palma, might have actually been the thing that costed Chelsea the much needed creativity that could make Chelsea actually get something out of this game. Otherwise, what do you think? Do you think that I've understood what I've actually caught what happened? Leave your comments in the comment section area below. And once again, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.